Good morning. I am running late again this morning, and that would be because my alarm did not go off. But I got a really great night's sleep, and then this morning I was getting ready because I wanted to show you a few things on my computer, and then of course my computer was also up. So today it was just one of those mornings. Hopefully you're having a great morning. So yesterday, if you saw my blog post last night, yesterday I totally skipped out on the homemaking challenge, and that would be because I went back to bed. As soon as I finished my Periscope yesterday, I went back to bed. It was just one of those mornings that I needed sleep. It was one of those days that I needed sleep. Welcome, Liz. Glad you got to see it for the first live for the first time. So I went back to bed, and I stayed in bed almost the entire day, and it was wonderful. It was so weird for me because I am usually such a driving personality, and I can just push and push until I push too hard, and so I'm learning to give myself grace. And that is, I'm surprising myself by my willingness to give myself grace. It's a good thing. And I feel like the last 2 weeks were really a wake-up call for me to say, you need to slow down. You need to slow down, and you need to give yourself grace. And so that's what that's going to become my mantra. So if you are new here today, let me know in the comments. Say something like, I'm new, because I'd love to know that you're new. As I mentioned yesterday, I always go back and look through the comments. I don't always have time in the broadcast to read all of them and to reply to all of them and to mention all of them, but I do go back and read all of them, and I appreciate you guys so much. Hi, Amber, Seeking Light, Granny Cash, C. Leonard's, Perkaloo. I need to know what your names are. Wow, lots of new people. Well, for those of you who are new, my name is Crystal Payne. I am wife to Jesse. We've been married for 12 and a half years. We have 3 kids. They are 10, 8, and 6. We live in the Nashville, Tennessee area where it is really, really muggy and wet. If you can see that my lighting is kind of grainy today, that's because the windows are, it's cloudy and overcast and rainy. One of those days you just want to sleep in. And that's what I did this morning. So I am the founder of MoneySavingMom.com and the New York Times bestselling author of Say Goodbye to Survival Mode, as well as the creator of the 14-day online course, Makeover Your Mornings. And that's at makeoveryourmornings.com. You had lots of hail last night here. Woo! Glad you could comment this time too. It's muggy and wet there too. Where do you live? Bits and pieces. I don't know what your name is. I need to learn all these names. Anyway, so we are running late, but we're just going to go with it. I wanted you all to, I've been doing the life-changing magic of tidying up. We've been having so much fun talking about that, and I've been having so much fun blogging about that I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to try another book next week. So I was thinking if you all would like to help me pick which book, I picked 3 books that are divided into 5 different sections, and I thought maybe you all could help me choose. So get ready to vote in the comments, and I will look through the comments at the end, and I will choose based on which one I think got the most votes. So the first one is Simply Tuesday by Emily Freeman. Simply Tuesday. And this is Small Moment Living in a Fast Moving World. So Simply Tuesday by Emily Freeman. Nourished. I don't even know where I found this book from, but it looked really good. It's called A Search for Health, Happiness, and a Full Night's Sleep. Doesn't that sound good? So Nourished, and it is by Becky Johnson and Rachel Randolph. And I don't even know, but some of my friends endorsed it, and they're friends that I really highly respect, so I thought it must be good. So Nourished, or Better Than Before by Gretchen Rubin, and this is about mastering the habits of our everyday lives. So you can put in the comments whether you'd like for me to next week talk about and blog through and read through Simply Tuesday, or Nourished, or Better Than Before.
Put it in the comments, and if you cannot comment for some reason, you can also tweet at me. It is twitter.com/MoneySavingMom. You can tweet at me and tell me, and I will let you know which one I decide tomorrow, so that if you'd like to read along, you can get it from your library or get it from Amazon or find it and borrow it from a friend or download it or something. So, alrighty. Oh yes, and I skipped the challenge yesterday, and I posted this funny on my Instagram, which is instagram.com/themoneysavingmom. I don't know if you can read it on here. Not sure if you can. It says, fitness tip, never stop pushing yourself. Some say 8 hours of sleep is enough. Why stop there? Why not 9? Why not 10? Strive for greatness. So I'm all about striving for greatness right now in my life. So I'm reading through The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and yesterday I read the 3rd section, which was about clothes and socks and books and organization of these things in your house, sentimental items. It was about a lot of specific items. Yesterday, it got weird. Yes, I knew it was coming, and yesterday it happened. It got weird. You slept 12 hours last night? Good for you, Simple Living. So, yes, no potato ball socks. If you've read the book, it's hilarious how she talks about your socks need to lay in your drawer and they need to relax because they work so hard. Okay, so if she's gonna make a case for why that stretches your socks out, then I'm all over that. But if she's gonna tell me it's because your socks need to relax, I'm not buying that. So there were some weird parts yesterday. However, I pushed through the weird parts and I pulled out a lot of nuggets. If you go to MoneySavingMom.com, you can read my review, my full review, and some of my favorite quotes. But one thing that I didn't talk about a whole lot last night that I was really challenged by yesterday, that as I've been thinking through, does it spark joy? Does it spark joy? My husband said, well, what is joy? Define that for me, which I thought was really good. And so I said, I think for me, something that sparks joy is something that lifts me up, something that uplifts me. And something that doesn't spark joy is something that just pulls me down. And so that would be if I walk past a pile of something and it's not something that I love, it's not something that speaks life and creativity to me, it's going to pull me down. So for instance, the pile of books, I talked about how I always have this pile of books next to my bed. And it's this massive pile of books, and I keep adding to it, and it's all these books that I'm like, I want to read that, I want to read that, I need to read that, I need to read that, oh, I got to read that. And I keep adding to it. Well, guess what? I realized yesterday that that pile does not spark joy for me. It does not pull me up. Instead, it speaks failure to me. Every time I look at that pile, I think, I haven't been spending enough time reading. I need to read more. I need to get my life more in order so that I can read more because I love to read. And I realized that it was really dragging me down. So guess what I am doing today? I'm getting rid of that pile of books. And I think I'm just going to let myself have one book there. One book. So that was really helpful to me, just to think of things in my life that I didn't even realize were dragging me down. So what other areas of my life? I'm going to start looking around my house and saying, are there things, other parts of my house that this is just dragging me down, and is there something that I can do about it? So that was what my big takeaway was yesterday from The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And I had planned to go through my clothes yesterday. I didn't go through my clothes because I slept and laid down most of the day, but I'm going to do that today. My plan for the 5-day homemaking challenge is to go through my clothes today. And there was a lot of there were a lot of comments back and forth on the whole concept of standing your clothes up in your drawer. She talks about folding them in a way that they stand up, so when you open up your dresser drawers, you can see everything. And so I am debating whether I want to try that in my dresser drawers. I kind of almost just want to and just see if I hate it or not. But we'll see. Tonight around 8 p.m. I will do a a recap of what I accomplished today, since I'm feeling a lot better today and I'm going to be able to get up and get some stuff done. So I will post a recap about what I did, and you can figure out whether or not I decided to stand my clothes up. It's a silly little thing, and yet I've heard from so many people that it makes a big difference. I'm just still kind of having a bad attitude about the whole like a little bit of extra laundry folding thing. I know that sounds so lazy of me, but that's the truth. I'm like, if it takes a little bit of extra time, is it really worth it? I have to be able to justify it. I'm one of those kind of people. Yesterday I talked about how this morning I mentioned that yesterday I stayed in bed and how I'm learning to listen to my body. I also wanted to mention that this morning because I think that we as women, we try to be awesome when we should be wise, like one of my other scopes was about. And so I posted on my blog last night why I didn't do the homemaking challenge yesterday. And I posted on Instagram that funny and talked about how I just took a nap. And I want to challenge you, if you need to just take a nap or take it easy or say no to something, do that today. I was supposed to go to a Bible study last night, and I had missed the first week, which was the week before, because I was sick, and it was killing me to text my friend Jamie and say, I can't come again tonight. I'm wiped out. I need to stay home. But my husband said, you need to just do that. Just do that. And so I did. And you know what? She wrote me back the sweetest text. I don't know what I thought she was going to do. I guess I felt like I'm going to disappoint her and I'm a failure. And she wrote me back and it was just all like, Crystal, yes. I don't want you to come. I want you to stay home and rest and sleep. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And so that gave me so much permission to take care of myself. So I want to give you permission today to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, because that is the best thing you can do long term. Don't push too hard. And a calendar hack. I promised you a calendar hack or a to-do list hack. Yesterday, I talked about how writing it down is one of the most important things that I've done to help me get more done. And I was going to show you my Google Calendar, and then of course my computer was having issues yesterday. So we're going to see if we can get my Google Calendar to pull up today. I'm not sure, of course, my computer is now having issues again. Just a minute. But writing it down is the most important thing for productivity, because if you have all of this stuff swirling in your brain, you're going to just feel overwhelmed. So, but what do you do after you write it down? After you write it down, then you need to assign it to a day. Don't just write it down somewhere and lose it. That's why I love Google Calendar. So I assign it to a day. So I will look at my calendar and I will say, okay, let's see. I need to get this done sometime in the next 5 days. So which day on my calendar has more breathing room? And that's the day that I'll put it on. Unless I know specifically, like, it looks like there's more breathing room that day, but there's something else going on that day that I need to keep it free. So I'll put it on that day. So not just writing it down, but assigning it to a day. Then it's out of sight, out of mind, but in an organized place. And then you have to make a habit of consulting your calendar. You can't just write it down. You can't just assign it to a day. You also have to then develop the habit of consulting your calendar. So for me, that looks like every night before I go to bed, I look at my assignments on my calendar, on Google Calendar for the next day. So I will see, what do I have on that list for that day? And then I will make my to-do list based upon what is on there. I'm trying to see if I can pull up. I don't know why Gmail is being all fussy today for me. I really should just not try to do anything techie, because it is just, you know, me and technology just does not get along. I'm gonna have to have my husband help me. So tomorrow I'll have my husband help me and get it set up for me so it actually works. I'm so sorry, guys. It is a miracle that I have a blog, and people always say, oh, you must be so techie, you know all. I'm like, no, are you kidding me? I don't even know how to update my phone. My kids are always like, Mom, you need to update that. Mom, you need to fix that on your phone. Mom, you need to put those in folders. And they teach me how to do stuff. But anyway, so on Google Calendar, so I will write it down, assign it to a date, and then consult your calendar. So every night before I go to bed, I look at my all-day task and I see what I have planned for the next day. And then I write my to-do list off of those things. Now here's the thing. Sometimes as I'm writing my to-do list, I will say, you know what, I planned too much for this day. And so then I will drag and drop some of the things to another day. Or something will have come up and I will realize, you know what, I need to wait a few more days to get that done. Or sometimes I will realize I already did that thing unintentionally. Something came up and I did it. And so I go through my all-day task, and then I also look at what is assigned to a specific time. So for instance, I have an interview this afternoon at a certain time, and I know certain things we have certain times. So I will then base my to-do list off of those all-day tasks. So I'll show you an example. Here's my to-do list for today, all written out based upon my Google Calendar and what I had already assigned as all-day task, that I'd written it down, taken it out of my mind, assigned it to a day. And then when I do this, as I've talked about before, I put specific times on it, specific times. I don't always follow these to a T, but what this allows me to do is to make sure that I don't have more planned for the day than I have time to actually accomplish it. So much of the time, you know how we will try to cram in 36 hours into a 24-hour day? When I write specific time blocks, this guarantees that I don't plan more than I have hours in the day. And then I can shift things around, or I leave 2 hours of wiggle room so that, when stuff comes up, because it does, then I'll be able to shift it around. And I don't stick to the times perfectly, but they serve as a guideline for me, and they also guarantee for me that I haven't bitten off more than I can chew. So if I get to 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I still have 6 more things that need to be done, then I have to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, some of those things are going to have to get dragged to the next day. That's why I love Google Calendar, because of the drag and drop, the ability to drag and drop. It's so simple, I don't have to rewrite it out. And the other thing that I was going to say is I always put the highest priority items at the beginning of the day, so that when I get to 3 or 4 o'clock, if there are some things that, not everything is going to fit in there, well, at the beginning of the day, I've already gotten the most important things prioritized in, so those get done. So that is a little peek into how I plan my days. I know there's probably a lot of questions, and tomorrow when I do my Periscope, I'm going to allow some time that you can ask any questions you have about planning, productivity, calendars, to-do list, so that you can bring your questions tomorrow, and I will be more than happy to answer those. But for now, I want to let you go so that you can go and have a productive, wonderful day. Remember to take it easy, give yourself grace, and if you need to rest, get some rest. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you back tomorrow for more